time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show brings you famous celebrities and amazing people from all over the world. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. So sit back and relax and enjoy the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at Sonic Web Studios for all your needs. And if you're looking for a professional website without breaking a budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Evan Fine of the Senior Reserve Group. When you start thinking about retirement, who are you going to call about Medicare? Why call the best? Evan Fine of Senior Reserve Group, specializing in Medicare, health, and long-term care insurance. Evan can be reached at 1-800-650-9357. That's 1-800-650-9357. Or email to evanfine@seniorreservegroup.com. Evan is licensed in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Delaware, South Carolina, and Florida. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can also check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can also download and listen on SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, and also watch on YouTube as well. Well, baseball season's around the corner, and we have a New York City born and living in Alameda, California podcast host. He's the owner of ComfortablyZonedRadio.com, and he also hosts a number of shows, and he'll be coming to a pretty big network on the internet pretty soon during the baseball season. He's been a lifelong Mets fan and follows the Yankees with a great passion, and he's been talking baseball for a long time. And, of course, you know, he's been on with Ron Rabinovitz, who knew Jackie Robinson very well, and a one-time New York Met, Skip Lockwood, and it was also Tony D'Angelo, and he's known many people throughout the years, and of course, he's heard on Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. You can also check him out at ComfortablyZonedRadio.com, and he talks a lot of baseball, so if you want to have 9 innings of solid conversation, this is the guy you want to talk to. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, stepping up to the plate on the Mike Wagner Show, the New York City-born, lifelong Met fan and Yankee fan, of course, talking Yankees, living in California at the great life, Ralph Tyko, the Zig-Zag Man. Ralph, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us, the Zig-Zag Man.
Oh, my God, what an introduction. I don't know how I'm going to live up to that, but I'll certainly try. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing great. You know what? Baseball is getting started, and this is just my favorite time of the year. I mean, you know, everybody talks about spring, you know, the flowers, the birds, and the skies and everything. But when I think spring is starting, baseball comes to mind. And it's one of my favorites. And I'll tell you who my favorite team is and who I enjoy a lot. And first of all, of course, let's talk about you here. And you're born in New York City, currently living in California along the Bay Area. You've been a lifelong Mets fan, and you enjoy the New York Yankees. You've been talking baseball for decades and decades and decades. You're the owner of ComfortablyZonedRadio.com. You also host a number of shows, and you've also had some great hosts on there, too, as I mentioned, like with one-time Met Skip Lockwood, who I remember watching. Also, Mark Littell, a one-time reliever for the St. Louis Cardinals and the Kansas City Royals. And, just looking at this list, it's just amazing that you have. And before we get into talking about what you do, tell us how I got started.
Well, it got started when I was a little guy. My grandfather took me to the Polo Grounds right before the Giants called up Willie Mays in 1951.
Oh, my goodness.
And I got to see them before and after the call-up in May. I was a little kid, but it was just wonderful. You grow up in New York, you don't see grass like the Polo Grounds. it was just terrific. And my grandfather was an avid fan, had nothing but time. He was semi-retired. And we'd go to games, and we did that. Especially opening day, for years. And then, boom, they took the Giants out of New York. They took the Dodgers out of Brooklyn. And the spirit of the city was broken. Fortunately, we had the Yankees and they were great. I mean, we weren't settling by any means, but fandom is fickle. If you're a Dodger fan, you're a Giant fan, it's hard to root for somebody else. It's an incredible dynamic there. Your first love as a baseball team sticks with you. And when they left the Giants, my favorite team, I was 11, and there was between 1958 and 1962, living in New York as a kid growing up, until the Mets got there, we didn't have a team.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we got to see plenty of baseball, we were kind of the anti-Yankee fans. We were National League fans, and we rooted for the teams that came in.
Mm-hmm.
So it was only later in life that I realized that, I love the memory of all three teams that played in New York in the 50s, in the 40s, in the 30s, in the 20s, that sort of thing, before my time. And I look back on my memories following the Yankees, if not rooting for them, as some of the most important sports memories of my life. Great teams, Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris years. And I look back on the Dodgers as my heroes, even though I was a Giant fan. I remember Roy Campanella and Gil Hodges, who should be in the Hall of Fame if we're going to talk baseball. Among other players, who do you think should be in and who do you think should be out?
Mm-hmm.
Mike Wagner.
Oh my gosh! I think you kind of threw a curveball on that one, and I probably
it was a knuckleball. It was a knuckleball.
It was like a Phil Necro knuckleball. I have to say that, and Joe
snuck right up on you to see if you're just looking at the board or you're thinking about my interview.
I think that's a really good one, too. And, of course, there's always debate about Pete Rose as well, too. Should Pete be in the Hall of Fame or not? And, of course, there's a whole gambling issue, and, that's all in the past and whatever else. And, I mean, it's just like, hey, give Pete Rose a break. And, of course, you have all the other issues going on. And, of course, you also got some of the modern ones as well, too, just trying to get into baseball as well, too. And I think they have some first-timers as well. So I'm just kind of combing through here to see who gets in. And, of course, I enjoyed Ernie Banks, just having him get in. And I think there was also, let me just see here, just trying to jog my memory. So, yeah.
Well, how about this? There are two people besides Gil Hodges that I think should be locks for the Hall of Fame. One of them is Minnie Minoso.
Yes, Minnie Minoso, Chicago White Sox. I went to White Sox games, and here's the funny story. Although I've been a Cub fan for many, many years, my dad took me to more White Sox games than Cubs games. The reason being was because my sisters won tickets because they had like straight A's and perfect attendance. They didn't like baseball. They gave it to me. Yeah. So it's like, here, Michael, I hate baseball. You guys can go. So I said, okay. Watching Minnie Minoso, do his stuff. And, of course, you had that big shower at Comiskey Park. You just hold it down, and especially those 90-degree days. And like the White Sox, get killed, like, say, by 10 runs going to 8th inning. Fans are bored out of their minds, and they go to that shower just to cool off. And I think my dad dared me one day. It was like 32 degrees, and we were setting up the right field area. We had this blowing cold. They're playing the Baltimore Orioles. This is like in April. And I said, this is a bunch of crap. You're about going to a football game. And the Sox were losing. And we were like bundled up in winter coats, had hot chocolate and whatever else. And he says, go down there and go to the shower. I'm like, you go first. I've got money. And then, you know, I went down there and it's just like, it's frozen. So they're like, you had to be crazy to do that. But, you know, that stuff was fun. And Bill Veeck was obviously the genius of having like fun baseball. I mean, they didn't care if the White Sox won 100 games, won the pennant, went to World Series. They didn't care if they won 50 or 60 games. It was just like, they just want to have fans just to have fun. You know, that's the thing. I like to see it come back in many ballparks, especially a big show you pull down in center field. And, of course, you know, the Arizona Diamondbacks, just having a pool in center field is good enough, but I just miss having a shower just to pull down when your favorite team is getting killed by so many runs.
Brings back the memories. Bill Veeck, if you have a bibliography to your show, include Veeck as in wreck. Everybody go out and go to the library, order it on Amazon, written by the number one showman in baseball of all time and a terrific innovator, as well as a terrific general manager who built terrific teams. The 48 Cleveland Indians were his, and they went to the World Championship. I think the 59 White Sox were owned by Bill Veeck, if I'm not mistaken.
I remember watching the 59 White Sox, you know, watching about them. I think at the time, that was like their last chance of, you know, being in the World Series until they won against Houston. I think it was in 2004 or 2005. Everybody was crying about the White Sox not going back since 59. I remember that.
Right. Terrific team, a terrific pennant race that year. They beat out Cleveland and the Yankees, took it down to the wire with guts and bailing wire. Let's put it that way. Really underrated. They played the Dodgers in the World Series, and Dodgers pretty much showed them why. But they pulled the year out, and Minoso was a vital part of that. But what made that team was the terrific double play combination of Louis Aparicio and Nellie Fox. And they were the premier Keystone Kids of the day. And that includes Tony Kubek and Bobby Richardson with the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
Fox and Aparicio were where it was at. I mean, Nellie was such a good situational hitter back in the days when baseball had situational hitters. Get the guy over, get the guy in, take two, hit to right, that sort of thing. Now baseball is pretty much throw him up there, swing, hit a home run, or strike out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's changed. I bemoan that. It's still baseball, no matter how much it changes. And the fact that this is opening day week brings a little warmth to this old guy's heart.
Yes, that's right. And I'm trying to get some scoreboard information as well, too. Internet's a little bit slow. They're probably getting jammed with baseball scores and everything else. And yes, talking, having like the game change as well, too. And, of course, the number of pitch counts. And now what they're doing with the pitchers and everything is, heck with a 5-man rotation, just throw a reliever in there to start, put in another reliever, and have your starter, Cy Young, like in Clayton Kershaw, as the closer. It's like, what do you think about that? Having like a reliever start, work your way into a starter, and have your ace starter be a closer, like the Dodgers did last year.
Well, I'll just give you the words of Madison Bumgarner. Pretty damn good pitcher. He says, the day I get to the ballpark and there's some open